All right, and we're live for another 30 and Nerdy podcast for 30andnerdy.com. I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
And this is going to be probably and hopefully one of many Elder Scrolls Online podcasts.
Yes.
Is it Elder Scrolls or The Elder Scrolls? I think it's The Elder Scrolls.
I know it used to be The Elder Scrolls. Now I just see it like abbreviated everywhere online as ESO.
ESO, yeah. And I guess before we begin, we should let anybody who's listening know that this is going to be a conversational podcast. We've both been playing the game for just a few days now, and so we're not, by any stretch of the imagination, trying to sound like the definitive voice on everything you can do in this game or, all of the ins and outs of it. We're still very much in the process of exploring it and figuring out. And we've just been having a ton of fun doing it. And we were like, man, we gotta talk about this. We gotta record a podcast about it,
Absolutely. So much to, like you said, just so much to do and explore.
Yeah.
Insane.
But before we started the podcast, we were sitting here with like the map of the world open on the game. Do you remember what the name of the faction was that you, before we get into all this stuff, we should probably, I guess for anybody listening who doesn't know what this is, we should, do
a little rundown.
Yeah, I always forget to do that. So the Elder Scrolls Online is an online MMORPG, so a massive multiplayer online RPG. But unlike games like maybe like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV or some of the other popular MMOs, this is obviously based in the Elder Scrolls universe. You can play in first person and you can play in third person. And looking at the map here, it's like it's got the Morrowind territory, and you can go to Skyrim in it, and you can go to Daggerfall and like
Cyrodiil.
Cyrodiil, that's where Oblivion took place, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I don't know if the locations in this game are like literally as big and as detailed as they were in those games. Maybe I don't want to call them mini versions because I feel like that's a disservice because this game is massive, right? But it's huge because I haven't gone to, I played a lot of Morrowind back in the day, and so I'm excited to finally, for me, that's literally traveling across the game's chunk of land. It's like down the other side of the world,
Yeah, I haven't made it to Morrowind yet. I have really vivid memories. So you played Morrowind?
Yeah, I loved it. I was one of those people. Back in the day when Morrowind came out on PC, I didn't have a PC that could run it, but I went over to a buddy's house. We always say in our podcast, we had friends that had computers that could run stuff, but we never did,
Yeah.
So I went over to a friend's house and I saw it. And it was one of those games for me that like my mind was blown. Like I couldn't even comprehend how games could look that good, and you could actually be running around in them, and like all the foliage could look as amazing as it did, and it was open, and you could do all this stuff, and it was just like my brain just was like, does not compute. But then eventually, when it came to the original Xbox, that was a day one purchase for me. I was just so excited that they crammed that game onto that disc, and when you get off the boat in Morrowind in the beginning of that game, and you're just, you're what is it? You start off and you're like a slave, but you actually get freed for whatever reason.
Yeah, you were like a prisoner who was being pardoned, and actually, not too long ago I watched the intro to it just because I don't know, I love the intro to that game.
Yeah,
the guy with a really raspy voice. He's like,
yeah,
and then like all the font on the screen is, oh man, that was my favorite like intro to a Morrowind game or to a Skyrim Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
My first experience with it and Morrowind was when I bought my original Xbox, I bought two games. I bought Halo and I bought Morrowind.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just because. Now, granted, I didn't know anything about Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls universe prior to it, so I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Yeah, same here.
And I just knew it looked awesome. It had knights and armor and stuff. I was like, okay. And I remember just getting it, and oh my goodness! Like I went into the game, and there was like a ring on a table and forks. I was like, wait, why can I can pick all of this up?
Yeah, right.
And it just just took off from there. Just the amount of stuff you could do, and yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that one of the things that's blowing my mind about Elder Scrolls Online, because I played World of Warcraft back when it first came out, for like a solid year straight, and I dabbled in Final Fantasy 14 a little bit on PS3 and PS4. Like I played the beta for both, and I just like I couldn't get into it. But it's like because you don't have any other MMO experience, right?
No, I was gonna say that's kind of cool that you had, at least some prior experience. Because yeah, this is my first MMORPG experience.
And like one of the fun things about the Elder Scrolls game, like you're saying, is you can walk up to a table and pick up a ring or a fork if you want and stuff like that. And like nothing is bolted down. And so like while a lot more stuff in Elder Scrolls Online is bolted down than in like a core, like I guess you could say like regular Elder Scrolls game, it's still very much that gameplay style where you're still there is stuff on tables that you can grab. You're still gathering herbs and going through crates, and you can still I haven't tried stealing. Can you pickpocket people? I know you can pickpocket.
Not that I've found. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I've snuck up behind people, and I don't think it gives me that ability. But what I have noticed in this one is it seems like whereas you can't pick up brooms and buckets and stuff.
Right. You're right.
It seems like it lets you pick up like the essentials that you need for crafting and stuff. So I mean, if there was no need for picking up spoons and stuff in this game, so I think they just did away with it. But
yeah, I love it where like sometimes I'll be in a Daggerfall, which is the town that I started out in, and I'll just be over at like the merchants and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I'll hear like "Stop thief!" and like the guards are attacking somebody, like probably some rogue character that was trying to steal from them, and just like I was oblivious to it. It's so funny. And with the way that this game works on consoles, because I don't know if they assume that people aren't going to sit there with like a keyboard to like actually to chat to each other, is you can only communicate via like emotes in the game. There's phrases that you can click a button or set to hotkeys, and you make your character say like "good job" or "heal me" or things like that. Or obviously it's the mics, and so everybody's voice thing is it's like proximity based. So if you're near people, you can hear them and they can hear you. Where was I going with this? There was darn it, I totally like derailed my train of thought. We're talking about stealing. Oh yeah, that's what it was. And so like every once in a while I'll be on a mission somewhere, and I'll be inside a house, or I'll be somewhere in town, and I'll see somebody just kind of like sneaking around a room, and I'll be like, there's a thief here, just like knowing that they can hear me, obviously the guards don't hear or give a crap or whatever, but I just think it's hilarious that if they have a headset on, like I'm totally just calling them out, like what are you doing in those drawers? Like it's funny.
Like you said, we've only been playing a few days, and I already have like so many just amazing stories. Like
same here.
Earlier today, I was messing around, and you can play a flute. That's what I have that as one of my default actions I can do.
Wait, so do you need a flute, or that's just like
no,
an emote?
And it's just an emote, and I put it as one of my like my hotkey ones.
Yeah.
So I forgot what I was doing. I was like gonna go to the bathroom, and I was in like a marketplace, so I just hit my guy, and he was just playing the flute while I used the restroom, and then I came back, and there was a guy who was playing a guitar right next to me. So it's like there's another guy playing. I want to say there was like a drum that he was playing, and then there was like 3 or 4 people around us dancing. It was amazing.
That is fantastic. See that, dude? That is what MMORPGs are about. That's it right there. It's just that camaraderie, and then knowing that after you guys are done playing instruments and people are dancing, you could be like, "Hey, let's go clear out this crypt, let's go."
Then when I got back, I went to I had another emotion hotkey, which was a guffaw. So my guy just started going, like laughing.
Yeah.
It was just, oh man. But yeah, I mean, as far as, the way the game looks, what do you think about how the game looks? It's great.
I'm actually really impressed with the visuals, which I think is something people were knocking from the get-go.
Were they really?
Yeah. I don't know how it looks on PC. I guess, we should. I kind of wanted to do a little segment about like kind of like our preconceptions going into it and whatnot. And so I think, I think you segued us really, really well in that there were a couple of things that people, I forget how long ago this came out on PC. I want to say about a solid year ago. Long enough ago to the point where people, and by people I mean just there's the internet. People online were kind of saying like that they weren't sure, like that Bethesda was being kind of quiet about whether or not it was still coming to consoles. Like they were saying, "Oh no, it is," but they hadn't really said anything official. Like here's the details of when and what platforms and stuff like that. And so all I had to go off of for what to expect out of this game was that people didn't think the graphics were that great on PC, which I guess maybe compared to what PC graphics can be, I guess it probably wouldn't look that good. And they didn't like the subscription fee. And I think obviously in every MMO in the beginning, it's like there's not enough endgame content. And I know that when the Elder Scrolls Online was being previewed before launch, there was a point where this game existed without the first-person mode, which I don't know if it was one of the E3s or a Gamescom event or something like that, but basically the biggest chunk of feedback that they got in the middle of their development was this doesn't feel like an MMO. It feels like you're trying to copy the way other MMOs look and feel, and that didn't make sense because they had something really, like they had something to build off of, which was this experience that people knew from the other Elder Scrolls games. So they implemented that first person mode and then shut a lot of people up. That's how I love playing. I love playing in first person mode.
I think I told you when I'm like out exploring and stuff, I'll use the third person, and then when I get into a combat situation, first thing I do is hit the down button to go into first person. I can't imagine the game without first person. Wow.
Yeah. So going into it, I guess to summarize my point here, I was expecting a game that didn't really look that good. And I think people said, like, if you love the Elder Scrolls games, be aware that this feels like an MMO. It doesn't feel like an Elder Scrolls game. And so that was kind of one of the turn-offs to me also, where I was like unsure about whether or not I should drop the $60 on this game and whether or not I was going to like it and stuff like that. Was, like I said, I tried getting into Final Fantasy 14 on and off over the past year and a half or so, and I just couldn't. It just never grabbed me. But I feel like this game it does play like an MMO somewhat, but it also plays like an Elder Scrolls game. I feel like they found this like 50-50 like hybrid. Like it doesn't have the Elder Scrolls games like physics engine. Like when you down an enemy, he's not gonna like roll down the hill, like ragdoll physics and stuff like that. Yeah, but I feel like all the weapons, like I'm using a two-handed sword and or axe primarily, and whenever I hit somebody, I just like the hits feel good. I don't know if it's like the force feedback, the vibration in the controller or whatever, but the game feels really solid to me. Like the battle feels chunky, which I like.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. See, maybe I'm sort of privileged in that this is the first MMO I've played, so I didn't, really have anything to base it off of. But yeah, first and foremost, it feels like it feels like an Elder Scrolls game to me.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, go on. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it just feels like an Elder Scrolls game, with a ton of other, real people, playing it also.
Yeah. And so I was going to ask you, did you have any kind of like preconceptions about like what you should or shouldn't like what you were or were not to expect like going into it? Like, had you read anything that said the game's going to look crappy or play sloppy or like beware subscription fees or anything like that?
You know what? I didn't read much up on it. I think I knew the game was coming out. And after, sinking hours and hours into Skyrim, I was like, okay, I'm going to obviously play it no matter what. And I think I was really looking forward to it and intrigued to see, what the MMORPG world was like.
Okay.
So I was really, I think intrigued is really the word. And I was really excited that my first experience with it would be, something like Elder Scrolls, something I'm familiar with. So it wouldn't be like this whole new thing. So
yeah, that's probably the perfect gateway drug for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, to be honest, like obviously, I would never say like, oh, you found the be all end all MMORPG, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's way better ones out there. But
well, I guess what I'm getting at is, I mean, I haven't played them all. I haven't played Guild Wars, and there's what's it, Rifts. There's just there's a bunch of them, big and small. Out of the few that I've played and like dabbled in over the years, though, this is hands down my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome for me to hear as a new MMORPG player. Yeah,
but and like we were saying, that's one of the things is like when I jumped into the World of Warcraft universe, I was kind of going in, I don't know what the word is. Like I wasn't a fan of like Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3. So I was just like jumping into World of Warcraft because, somebody I knew was playing it at the time. And I grew to like it and appreciate it for like its art style and its gameplay and everything. But I imagine that if you played Warcraft like, 1, 2, and 3 or whatever over the years, that World of Warcraft was like this big, amazing thing. And you loved it even more for being able to be in that world, like in an MMO version of it, like for the first time, kind of like us, where, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I feel about it, right? Is that I loved Morrowind. I couldn't get into Skyrim, and I kind of liked Oblivion and stuff like that. Point being, like we played the Elder Scrolls games over the years, and like now it's like being in that world, but like you said, with other people, it's just like the way more. I don't want to call it immersive because there's still. Like I don't know if it's immersive, standing in front of a merchant with like 40 other people and like horses like spawning out of nowhere and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean that might be an okay way to describe it. It's definitely it adds so much more to it. It's basically like they got rid of 50% of the NPCs that would be walking around and replaced it with people like you. And I mean it's like be able to run up to one of those NPCs and say, hey, you want to go help me with this quest? And, so just, oh man, it's amazing.
Yeah. Like you're saying, like I love that I can be in a dungeon and maybe I bump into like a boss or like a sub boss and maybe I'm not even there on a quest. Well, I mean, there's people in your areas on quests. There's people running around while you're just exploring the world and stuff like that. And I love at any minute, I can help somebody out with like somebody they're struggling with and like vice versa. And,
I know. Yeah. It's definitely that has definitely helped me get through one. Like, just the other day I was having trouble. There's these 3 people I had to beat and I was just getting killed left and right. And I was just like, oh man. And then finally like these other 2 guys must have been doing the same mission and we all, teamed up and just, demolished them. It was awesome.
Yeah. and it's like for those moments, you don't even have to ask them.
Right.
Like, hey, can I be in your party? And they don't have to be like, yo, I see you're fighting this thing. You mind if we join you? It's just like they're there and they start attacking it with you. And so despite the fact that there isn't that formal, like, let's join up, it's still like you get credit for killing that thing if that was a quest and they do damage also, and that's what I love.
Right. So all it promotes is, to help people. So you don't have to worry about not getting credit or EXP for the kill and everything, which is so awesome.
Have you seen those things yet? And I don't know what the official name for what I'm about to talk about is, but kind of like in the trailer, the opening cinematic for the game where like you'll be walking through the world and all of a sudden you'll see like the portal in the sky and the chains will shoot down.
Yep.
And like, oh my God. And then
come out. Yeah.
I forget what there's the storyline reason for why that's happening. And I forget exactly what that's about. It has to do with all the starter area in the game and stuff like that. And some dude in the afterlife. And anyways, I love going to those areas and just seeing like 20 people just fighting all of like the skeletons and all the other imps and like the monsters and stuff like that are there. And I'm just like, this is incredible. This is blowing my mind. Like it was one thing, playing Oblivion and in that game you took portals into Oblivion, right?
Yeah, Oblivion gates, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to close every Oblivion gate in the game. Yeah.
Right, but it's like one thing about like doing that kind of mission like solo versus being there with 10, 15, 20 other people taking out these things, and then, watching all the enemies be banished, and like the chains go back into the sky and everything is, and then there's a chest there for you to loot, and everybody gets to loot their chest, and oh, it's just so freaking good. I had this one moment where I was on a quest, and I was along the coast there of High Rock, which is the I don't know if you call it it's not a continent or whatever, the chunk of land, the chunk of land, I mean the region there, High Rock. And it was point being, I was on a quest, and I was just like going through the beats of like the storyline mission and stuff like that, and all of a sudden there's just like a super dark cloud above me, and I noticed that the cloud, when I looked up with my character, was actually traveling across the sky. So that cloud traveled from point A to point B, and point B ended up being where it was going to settle, and the chains were going to come down. And unfortunately, it was an area where I didn't have, like, where 15 to 20 other people weren't questing. So yeah, and so I walked up to it, and there were like all of these necromancer type or like mage class NPC bad guys huddled around like the center column in like that chain like area, and I ran up to them and I started wailing on them, and I used like all my ultimate ability and like all that other stuff, and I managed to take them out. But then, like, I don't know what they were, like golems or whatever, giant monsters started to appear, and like I got crushed there, and I was like, holy shit. So it doesn't mean like sometimes you will find yourself like wandering around, and you'll be presented with these situations where you look around and you're like, guys, you're just like
so you encountered one of those. See, I've encountered one of them so far, and it was in Cyrodiil. So I didn't know if you could only do it like when you're doing like the PvP stuff. I didn't know I didn't know.
Those are just they come down in the world, and there's areas in the world where like you'll see, like you'll be walking around, and you'll see like the cement bottom where one of them's going to appear, and you'll be like, oh, that thing will appear here from time to time, which but yeah, you'll sorry. You'll stumble upon them randomly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I got distracted there.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah, see, because I just assumed since that's where I found it. Wow, that's awesome. But yeah, as far as the way it looks, I have no gripes at all. I think it's very impressive. And I'm looking at the map right now, and I have I'm in one like province, and just all the textures and all the effects in this one, I can't imagine all the rest of them I'm gonna encounter.
Yeah. Have you seen any thunderstorms in the game yet?
Yeah, I've ran into actually, the thunder like made me jump the first time because I was playing with my headset.
That's awesome.
And it was like a boom, and at first I was like, holy crap! I was like, there shouldn't be like a cannon in this game, and then like the screen flashed, and I was just like, holy crap! It was intense.
Yeah,
it was definitely. It's awesome.
And it looks good, depending, because it can thunderstorm during the day, it can thunderstorm at night, and like the thunder is like casting like shadows from the environment and stuff like that, and it's just like it looks good, and like the rain hitting the water looks good and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, if you want to be nitpicky when it's raining, go up to the water or go swim in the water, and it's like a flat texture that little circle raindrops like appear on and stuff like that. And okay, it's not like the most mind-blowing physics-based texture work like ever, but if you're not trying to nitpick stuff like that, it's a gorgeous game. Like depending on where like the sun is in the sky and the time of day, you get really good sunset effect and sunrise effects, and the light bleeds through like all of like the tree branches in real time and stuff like that. There's shadows get cast in the game also. I haven't noticed like how super detailed they are or anything like that. But I mean, when you combine like the gorgeous lighting effects with some halfway decent texture work and like just the soundtrack in this game is incredible.
I was waiting to get.
Oh
to
man.
Get to that.
Yeah, the soundtrack, the sound effects, it's just, like you said, play it with headphones or don't. It's an incredibly immersive experience.
Yeah, and I actually looked up the artist. I forgot his name, darn it. Here, I'll be able to tell you in a second. Because Jeremy Sewell, I want to say that's how you say his name, is normally the guy that does all their soundtracks.
Okay.
he was credited with a few in this game, but there was a, let me see, I can't remember. Yeah, Brad Derrick did a lot of the songs for this game, and I love, oh my goodness, like I was listening to the soundtrack earlier today when I was like getting dressed and everything, man, just the soundtrack it makes you want to watch Lord of the Rings or
be
playing this
epic.
game. It makes you want to be part of a fantasy world. It is just, and one thing that I love is I'm a big I love choirs. I don't know why. I love choir singing, and there is a ton more in this game than in the previous Elder Scrolls. And oh man, yeah, I already bought the soundtrack, and it's, oh man, love it. It's so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm such a sucker for it. And then even the character creation screen. We probably should have done a rundown of like making your character and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, people have played like a game. It's like it's a detailed sliders on choosing your race and your class, and then how how tall or skinny or heavy your character is, and what their face looks like in detail and stuff like that.
There's probably like, what is there, 8 or 9 different races?
Yeah, probably. There's
in each one, at least I'm a dark elf. I know it gave me 4 different like types of dark elf. I could be like, did it give you 4 choices as well?
You mean like the subclasses like Dragon Knight? Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, right there, like the possibilities are, I mean,
so
endless. The possibilities are just like, almost endless as to, what kind of character you create. But yeah, what I was going to say is, as far as like the sound and everything, you can pick like your character's voice in it and stuff, which is crazy. And oh man, so good.
So you're playing like a dark elf rogue type character?
Yeah, stealthy assassin, thief. Yeah, you don't want to come across my guy. He's a badass.
Nice. I'm playing an orc. He's huge. Right now, he's brute, heavy armor. Using 2-handed axes and swords right now, and just putting tons of skill points into like my armor and like my defense abilities and like my 2-hand weapon skills and stuff like that, and basically just making it so he's got a ton of stamina and a ton of health, but then also so that I have a few magic spells where I can cast a few things to help me out, like some rock spells to knock enemies down and stuff like that, and I can give myself magic armor that like repels magic attacks and physical attacks and stuff like that. So it's like I'm trying to go with the brute, but I don't want him to just get decimated by mages. Yeah. So I'm trying to be mindful of that in his build also. I've run into this thing, and maybe you will have also, and I'm curious to see if you've heard anything about this, where there's a couple of abilities that I put skill points into kind of early on, and then at a certain point I got new abilities, like new combat abilities, or combat skills, that were just kind of like way, I don't want to say better, but just more of what I was looking for. And so now I've got some skill points sitting in a couple of skills, like combat skills, that I never use anymore. And I'm wondering, can you respec at a certain point and redistribute your points? Like, can you pay for that with in-game currency, real money, or?
You know what? I thought I read somewhere that you could.
I'm pretty sure in every MMO ever made that you can do stuff like that. I haven't bumped into a place in the game where I can reallocate my points.
It might be a level or something. Yeah, I know I've read it somewhere or something. I'm pretty sure there's some way to. Because I'm kind of the same way. Well, there's some things that I would definitely have done differently. But I'll have to check into that. I'm pretty sure you can. I think so. Let me see.
That's okay. I mean, we don't need to look it up now. Like, I'm pretty sure you should be able to. Like, there's never been a role-playing game where at least that I've ever played online or offline. Well, actually, I don't want to say maybe offline, but like where you couldn't, where you couldn't just like rebuild your character. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of old school games where you couldn't do that kind of stuff, but any like Western role playing games and stuff like that, you can usually rebuild your character if you did mess up on something.
Yeah.
Just sometimes it'll cost gold or a special item or something like that. I guess one thing while you're looking it up, one thing that I'll tell people also is that the console version of this game, and I think now the PC version also, there is no monthly subscription fee to play it. It's like you pay your $60 and you get the game, and you don't have to pay a monthly fee like you do for a lot of online games. And the way that it seems like they're making their extra money is you can pay real world currency for. The heck? There's like a really loud noise in here. Sorry, like a really loud, terrifying noise. I don't know what it was.
Oh man,
I couldn't tell if something fell or.
Is Gina there with you?
Yeah, she's here, and like the dog got up and looked. And hey, Gina, what was that? She says she thinks our drawer broke. Okay, weird. Anyways, the podcast must go on. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you can buy like for example, like the first horse mount you can buy in the game costs like 10,000 gold currency, which is gonna take you a while to get there just by questing and looting gold off dead bodies and stuff like that in the game. Or it's like you can pay like $5 real world money or something like that and pretty much get a mount whenever you want, right?
Right.
And there's other things like that. There's other ways to upgrade your game.
The crown store.
Yeah, there's a crown store and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of goodies in there, right? Like costumes and different stuff. So it's not like, I mean, I haven't really looked in it, to be honest. I just feel like
there's some cool stuff.
There's cool stuff in there. But do you feel like it breaks the game? Like it doesn't turn this game, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I could be wrong, but into like a pay-to-win style game or anything like that, right?
Well, I don't think so. Because the costumes, it does nothing. Whatever armor you have equipped, that's the rating that you have. So it's whatever you acquire through the game. This just changes the cosmetic.
Right. Okay.
I actually bought a costume like a thief stealth rogue costume pack. But yeah, it just changes the way it looks, which is cool. And then you can buy different, crowns are their like in-game currency, that you can pay real money for. But yeah, there's some some kind of cool like exclusive type stuff in there. I mean, I don't know. I might buy a mount. Do you have a mount yet?
No. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that the basic mounts, and I don't know if they have different speed classes or what, but the basic one I think costs 10,000 gold, and I think right now I've got like 3,000 or 3,500 or something like that. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna buy my first mount with in-game currency. Like I don't think I'm one of those people. I hardly ever buy DLC or pay for extra games or extra things in like games.
Right.
So I probably will never do that. If I do it, it'll be because I've been playing the game for like a solid year, and
you can
maybe I'll crack at that point, or an expansion will come out or something.
Here, let me see. Yeah, you can visit a what is it? My font's really small. Redirection shrine. It's 100 gold per point to redo your attributes.
So you have 20. Interesting.
If you have 23 attribute points, it'll be 2,300 gold.
I wonder then. Oh man, now I want to try it out, because like I was just thinking about this. I was like, well, usually in games, what it does is it's like if you've put 40 points into your character, it's like you suck all 40 points away. You have nothing, and then you like redistribute them. So I'm like, great, now I gotta like remember all the stuff that I did want and just write down the couple of things, or whatever that I didn't want. But it'd be cool if you could like hover your cursor or something over specifically the things you didn't want anymore, and then just get those points back and pay 100 gold per point. That'd be awesome.
Let's see. Rededication shrine. There we go.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
Do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen this also, but another thing that I really liked, and I'm not sure if they did this in Skyrim. Like I think I mentioned, I played a ton of Morrowind, a solid amount of Oblivion. I played hardly any Skyrim because the PS3 version was garbage, and I just refused to deal with it. The thing that I like is that you can like level up. Let's say, like I have this skill called. Oh, actually, I don't know any of them off the top of my head. I'll make it up. Like I have a skill called Furious Punch, and like by using Furious Punch, I'll level up Furious Punch. And if I get Furious Punch to level 3 or 4, I can spend a skill point to morph it into Basher Punch or like Crusher Punch. And Basher Punch or Crusher Punch will do different things. Usually they do the same amount of damage, but you'll do like bleed damage or like this other effect on top. I love that.
Yep. I've acquired a few of those. Yeah, I love it as well. I think one of my like arrow, cause my guy's like an archer.
Yeah.
One of my arrow things, like, I could have chosen to like knock the enemy back 6 feet.
Okay.
When he hits, or I could do poison damage over time, with it. So it's really cool. Just fit your playing style. What you think would be more useful. Awesome.
Yeah. The thing that's really cool about those also, I don't know if you've tested this out, but you get in the game, besides basic moves that cost magic or stamina to cast and execute, you get ultimate abilities, which you earn by just investing a lot of time in like, for example, I've got some branch for my orc called, I don't know, like Earth something or whatever. And so like I earned a whole bunch of like those earth things, and I was using them, and then I got an ultimate ability for my earth tree called like Molten Armor. It's really cool. I mean, it just like gives me more armor and like sets the enemies around me on fire and stuff like that. And then I guess what I'm getting at is I earn the ability to morph my Molten Armor to make it so that my Molten Armor, when I have it on, it'll either do this thing where it turns into Corrosive Armor, where I still get like all the armor benefits and stuff like that, but whatever enemies I'm fighting, whatever armor they have, I just chew through it. Like their armor doesn't even matter to me when I have my Molten Armor. Yeah. Or it's like if I want to go like the more friendly route for maybe PvP or maybe clearing dungeons with other people, so I can make it so Molten Armor gives all of the the real players around me like an armor bonus as well or something like that. And so they make you balance, like, is this build going to be more for like doing dungeon raids and things like that? Or is it going to be, are you going to build your character for PvP? Or are you going to build it for, going through the storyline up against like the PvE is like player versus environment? Yeah. And I feel like you can really craft your character depending on like the style of play that you want to, engage in at any moment. And if this, whatever system it was you're saying, if the shrines let you just kind of like withdraw and reallocate your points at will, that's really cool, because then it sounds like it's not expensive to keep tweaking your character. Like if you're going to spend a whole weekend doing PvP and you want to go with like your PvP skills, it's like, all right, go to the shrine and reallocate your skills.
Yeah, pay what gold you got to.
And then if like the next week your buddies aren't going to be online and you're going to mostly be going through like story quests and stuff like that, it's like, all right, you might want to tweak your skill set for handling like computer quests,
Right. Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Wow. I know nothing about this ultimate ability that you.
Really?
It's news to me. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that almost every skill path branch has it at top. It's usually it's locked until level 20 or level 15 or whatever it is. It's the one where on the PS4 controller where I press L1 and R1 to unleash.
Okay, I see. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Have you used those? You have those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called ultimate abilities because they don't cost mana or stamina to execute. Like they cost technically ultimate points. So it's like that golden bar that fills up around the icon for it. That's like your, you know what I mean? Like it has its own energy meter you need to fill to execute the moves.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. But then it's like some of my, like my skills that I got, like one of them, when I morphed it makes it so when I hit enemies with one of my more basic attacks that cost stamina, that like when I hit enemies, it actually gives me points towards like my ultimate attack and stuff like that.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, so there's like, I guess point being, that if you like making your own character and really customizing the way you're going to play and the stuff, that your character is going to be able to do, I feel like this game gets really, really deep in letting you choose how you're going to play it,
Yeah, and it's nice to know that you're not locked in to.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you done any PvP yet?
No, dude, I still have not tried PvP at all. I think actually, if you want to go into a little bit, maybe explain to me and like anybody who's listening, like what the PvP is all about, because it sounds like there's different modes and stuff like that, and it sounds like it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, so going into it, like I said, I had no idea what it was going to be like. Once you reach level 10 in the game, you can go to Cyrodiil, which is it's kind of split into 3 sections of 3 different factions, and you join one of them, and you basically try to take enemy strongholds just to conquer the majority of the map. And in holding them, and there's also Elder Scrolls that your faction can hang on to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and if your faction holds so many of these strongholds, and the Elder Scrolls, you will go into your social tab and then mail, and you start acquiring like weapons, armor. Today I got like treasure maps that I can use to like find like these like hidden treasure chests.
Oh man!
Just from holding on to these points, and oh man, it's just some of the quests I've gone on in the PvP aspect is just so intense. Like for example, my first one, I figure I'm a stealthy rogue, so I'll do scouting missions.
Oh, okay.
Scouting missions. I don't need to take the enemy strongholds, but I need to get deep within enemy lines, and I need to like basically take notes on what the enemy's movements are and stuff. So I was telling you about this earlier. Oh man. So I'm like, getting deep into the enemy territory, and at any point, I could see a member of my faction going in, or some other, or the enemy faction. And so I was playing in third person, and I was just swiveling the camera left and right, looking for, I had to survey my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was running from there was like stone outcroppings and trees and stuff. I was running from spot to spot, trying not to be seen. Like I felt like I was like there, and I was like, it was really intense, because like at any moment, someone could see me, get his friends over and just destroy me, and then from there I would have to start all over. So
like the stakes were even higher for you than if you were just sneaking into like a computer enemy populated castle or something.
Right, yeah, because there's where they walk, it's not pre-mapped out or anything. Anyone could just be wandering around just like me. And then sure enough, I saw 2 guys on horses, up a ways, and I saw this like little like rock outcropping. So I ran, and I knew they were going to be going by the rock on the right. So I looped around the left of this rock, keeping them in my sight, and they rode off into the distance. And then I just sprinted, and took my guy, he takes out like a piece of parchment, and acts like he's writing stuff down. And then I ran back to my base, and it was just so amazing, because it was nothing because the PvP, what I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be just like a death match, just kind of like the arena in Oblivion.
Right.
I thought it was going to be like 10v10, last guy from whatever faction standing wins. But man, this is just, and then on a ramble on and on, but another amazing thing that happened was when you're trying to conquer these strongholds, like you can go to ones that are under attack. And so I don't know how many guys can be on the screen at once, but I had to be with 25 at least guys from my faction.
Mm-hmm.
We were storming this enemy stronghold, and when you start doing that, then like your your guys start setting up ballistas and catapults, and they start
Yeah, I've
hitting
seen some of that gameplay. Okay.
and it is just the most intense thing. Like, because there's the brutes in there that are hands on, bashing the enemies, and then I was back, arching arrows with the other guys. There's mages healing us, and it was just
That's awesome.
so intense.
So is the mode that you were in with the like the catapults and stuff like that? Because I watched some Twitch streamers playing that kind of gameplay, and that was actually one of the things that sold me the game. Was like seeing him or a couple of the people that I was watching play that mode. I was like, oh, cool! Like I knew that the PvP multiplayer was more than just an arena thing. But is that separate from like your scouting stuff?
Nope. So basically, so if the stronghold that I have to go scout happens to be one of these ones that's under attack, I would have to go past this battle, take down my. It's all one. There isn't like separate modes. It's all you were just in that province at that time and
doing different stuff.
And that is what you do in that in the Cyrodiil province. Is you just
that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So and then like I said earlier, that's where I ran into that the Daedric portal that came down, and I'm assuming I think I got a exclusive quest. It has to be for when that happens, because the portal came down and I saw it happening. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And I was by this fort, and I went and as I was facing the Daedra there, I ran up to this lady, and she gave me this. She was like laying on the ground. She was injured. She was like, gave me this quest that was like, go out there and see what's out there if you think you're so strong. And I had to kill one of each Daedra type, which I could only do if that if that portal was there. So I went and did that and turned it in. So yeah, it's just, oh man, the PvPs. That's what I do. My one gripe about MMOs, from what I understand, you said a lot of them are like it, is having to wait to get into the PvP. You have to queue up in line.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, so I haven't had that problem. I've never had to queue up to get into the game world or anything like that. Mm-hmm. There's like what's the term I'm looking for? There's like a catchphrase or like a buzzword, I guess, that they were using for like the technology that they built ESO on, which was like mega servers. And I don't know if like mega servers have been used in other games, but I guess it's the technology that lets us see. You don't have a basis for comparison, so like. What I'm getting at is that in other MMOs, when you start and you create a character, like in Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, it was always like, which server do you want to be on? And, do you want to be on Maelstrom or, like just different names that usually have to do with like the lore of the game, where your character is going to be populated with X amount of other people, and it would show you like which ones are more full than the other ones and stuff like that. But in this game, it's just like, no, are you playing in North America or Europe? Like, okay, here you go. Like, and it's interesting, like, because obviously, like, for example, when I'm hanging around like that main city of like Daggerfall and stuff like that, there's probably, I don't know, feels like maybe like 100 people in there at any time. The game must obviously create like these instances of the game itself that it populates with those 100 people. Because if you've got millions of people playing your game, obviously a million people can't fit in any one town. So it's just cool that that's the way it does it, is it just puts 100 people at a time in that version of that game world,
Yeah, I wonder what the numbers look like, actually.
Like how many people are playing and like how many people are in each town at any given time and stuff like that?
Yeah, because to get into the PvP, like it'll say full for each, like it shows of the 3 factions, and it'll say full, for each one of them. I just wonder how many players from each faction are in. That'd be an interesting piece of knowledge, but
to just kind of dig into it,
yeah.
Because go on.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, at first when I was like questing through just like the normal game world, I wasn't sure if it was one of those games where what I was seeing wasn't what other people were seeing. Like, I see the thunderstorm here, but in somebody else's game, is it just a normal sunny day? And I guess I still don't really know the answer to that question. And it'd be interesting to look into is like in this version,
the weather.
Like does everybody see the same storms and the same
time
sunsets?
of day and stuff?
Yeah, because I don't know if time of day actually really affects anything. I mean, it affects your visibility. But I remember like the first time I saw a piece of iron ore, next to a rock, and I was like, I'm going to go get that.
Yep.
And then somebody else ran up to it, and they started mining it, and I was like, holy shit, it disappeared. Like, that guy really got it. Like, I thought, like, oh, we would just mine the same piece of ore in our own games, and it's like, no, whoever picks the flower first or the ore or chops the wood first, like, until that respawns at whatever point, whatever timer it's on, like, you're not getting it. And that's why it's... Oh, go on.
No, yeah. I was just gonna say, you gotta be aware.
Yeah, and I was gonna say sometimes it can be really rewarding to go explore some of like, I don't know if you have a coast where you're at, some of like the areas where other players aren't at, because you actually find a lot more like alchemy materials, like flowers and ores and like woods and things like that to gather, because people haven't harvested the crap out of those areas yet. Yeah, it's real interesting. The other thing that this game does with the what I guess I'll call instances of the game world is, I know for a fact that sometimes you don't see exactly what other people see. Like, for example, I went on this quest where I had to check out, I had to investigate why harpies were in this area. And at a certain point in that quest chain, one of the things that I had to do was go and actually like capture some harpies, and I had to, like, I don't know, whatever it is, it's like you damage them 3/4 of the way and then press X and then you like throw a net on them, and it shows them like trapped on the ground. And after I did that to like 5 of the harpies, I went back to the guy who gave me the quest, and the harpies that I captured were like there in front of them, and they were like flapping their wings, and they were all like rah, rah, and stuff like that. And I was like, holy crap, like I'm seeing these harpies here in front of this guy, but before I went on that quest, I didn't see any harpies there. And like they stayed there for like the rest of my adventures. They were just there. But I guarantee you that somebody who can see me in the game and me going on this quest, but like if that person didn't do that chunk of the harpy quest, they wouldn't see the harpies there flapping their wings trapped under rope. So I'm like, that's really ingenious how they've built a game world that actually kind of like changes and evolves subtly based on like the quests you do and things like that. But like not everybody will see everything that can happen. And like it depends on what quests you take on and stuff like that. Like I've done entire story chains and stuff like that where like at the end of the story, like this town that was in really bad shape like actually has like, like people walking around and like trying to like rebuild their lives there and stuff like that. And it's not like a main town where like really important stuff is going on, but it's just cool how you can change things like that. It's like that part of the game that gives you that single player experience, even though it's an MMO. And I really appreciate that they did stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the next story mission that you unlock, after level 10 is kind of like the same way where I usually just play the game by myself, and I went on like this. I didn't see any other. There was no one else in the world, with me.
Yeah.
Did you do the where you talk to like the prophet guy and stuff? And have you done?
I did the first one of those.
Okay. Like the second one, you like go and you basically rescue this girl and help her get her armor and stuff. But yeah, that was like a totally just like single player.
Okay, awesome
mission. It was awesome. And then you come out of that mission, you go outside, and there's everyone else. So yeah, it was awesome. So awesome.
That's really cool. Oh man, so yeah, like I guess when we were talking about like the game's visuals and stuff like that, I am kind of curious to hit Skyrim in this game and to go over to Morrowind and stuff like that and just kind of see how the graphics look compared to the actual Skyrim game and Morrowind games and stuff like that. I mean, Morrowind's old now, but in the Skyrim DLC they released like you can go to Morrowind actually and stuff like that, right?
I didn't play any of the DLC in Skyrim.
Okay, yeah, I think they actually you can go to a part of Morrowind in some of the
man,
Skyrim
that's
DLC. Yeah, which is interesting because like looking here at the map, I guess I never really realized that a chunk of Morrowind actually rests up along the side of Skyrim, which is like
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what they did for the DLC and stuff like that. That's
Oh man, that's
really
awesome.
really
Yeah.
cool.
I wonder. I wonder. I mean, it's got to be inevitable that they're gonna add dragons and stuff. There's not dragons in this game now, is there?
I mean, not that I've seen.
Oh yeah, it has to be. Oh man, that'd be amazing if they came out with like a Dovahkiin DLC where you could see the Dragonborn. Oh man, that'd be insane.
Yeah, kind of like how the chains coming down out of the sky and like all the monsters spawning there are meant to be like big group takedowns and stuff like that. I wonder, because your character is actually not like Dragonborn and stuff like that. If therefore in this game world, taking down a dragon might be an even bigger deal than it is in Skyrim. And I wonder if they could create those like, yes, 20 people need to fight this dragon together kind of things. Yeah, that'd be really crazy.
That'd be awesome.
Oh man,
down the road, that'd be amazing.
Let's see, like before we wrap up for this podcast, because I could tell like we could probably go on and on about this game forever, and we should definitely do another one. But let's, just to be fair, I guess I just wanted to touch a little bit on some of the things that maybe we don't like that much about the game, or that we wish they could have done better. And I only have a couple of gripes. So my first one is for as intuitive as I could tell that they were trying to be with the proximity based voice stuff. I don't like it. I found myself like I turn it off in the main town and stuff like that. I find it really distracting when I'm like completely immersed in the game, and then all of a sudden I hear
people doing like Quagmire impressions or something.
or like like music in the background or whatever. It's like I'm not in this game anymore. Now I'm in that person's bedroom over in my headphones or on my earpiece or whatever, and I'm just like, so I mute it now. Like I'll totally use voice chat. If I do like 4-man dungeon raids or however big they get with other people and stuff like that, to cooperate and communicate and stuff like that. Or heck, if I was in PvP, I think I would turn voice chat on also.
Yeah, when you're 20, 25 strong going into taking down an enemy stronghold, there's guys that are like, they're like, okay, we need guys over here to so it's definitely people don't really mess around. They take that seriously, which is really cool.
Yeah. And then I'd say, and this is going to sound like a really weird gripe, and it's probably like a super personal one, but I have this thing now where, because I watch like so much anime and I play so many video games and stuff like that, and I spent a chunk of my time kind of like researching voice actors and stuff like that, is I can pick people's voices out of games, especially voice actor Steve Blum, or Steve Bloom, however you pronounce his last name. I love him. He's really great at what he does. You know him probably from like Spike Spiegel, main character of Cowboy Bebop, and a lot of the new like X-Men and like Wolverine animations and stuff like that. He's actually like the voice of Wolverine. But this guy, he is, I swear, at least in my part of the game, maybe he's not over in where you're adventuring, but he's 100 characters.
I'm gonna have to look him up. I'm gonna have to look him up, see what his voice sounds like.
And so it's really,
I haven't noticed it.
Grumbly and it's low. And so instead of seeing different characters in the world, I'm just like, oh, it's Steve Blum, or like, oh, it's Steve Blum doing this accent.
I was gonna say, is he only playing like Bretons, or is he like
right? I don't know. And so here's the thing about it too. And like I said, the guy is incredibly talented. Don't want to knock him whatsoever, but it almost feels like they didn't spend the time to sit down with him and be like, all right, Steve, this character's name is Alexander, and this is his backstory and who he's married to and what he's trying to accomplish. So Steve could be like, all right, I'm really going to get into character. It's just like, no, he's doing slightly different versions of the handful of different voices that he does and other stuff. Because it's like, like I said, we Saturday morning we watch like Wolverine and the X-Men on Netflix and stuff like that, and it's like I love hearing him as Wolverine, and he puts his heart into the role, and you could tell like he is Wolverine. But in this game, it's like, no, it's Steve and it's not only him though. He's just like, there's this other voice actor named Crispin Glover who does a lot of anime, and if Steve Blum is 100 voices in this game, he's probably at least 50. And there's just a bunch of a bunch of these guys that are just in the VO industry that always land all these roles and all this stuff, and here they are, and it's like whoever was in charge of like character voice recording or whatever for this game was just like, let's get these guys. These guys are, they do good work. And it's like I said, like they were probably right. Maybe people like you or a lot of other people who aren't like that invested in like, knowing who voice actors are and stuff like that. Maybe a lot of people don't notice. But like I said, point being, sometimes I play this game and I'm just like, all right, I hear it. And a part of me rolls my eyes, but I'm like, you know what? I'm having so much fun that it doesn't really matter. But I just wish that 100 people voiced 100 characters instead of one guy voicing 100 characters,
I can understand that. Yeah.
Anything like that for you? Any other hang-ups or?
I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think about something. Like I said, the queuing up, but I mean, apparently that's with, other MMOs also. That's not just, I wish I could get into my PvP.
How long does it take you to get in?
It depends. I usually get in about like 150th in line, and it's what I do is right when I log into the game, I get in line, and then I just go do single player missions, and then if I'll be in the middle of a single player mission, and it'll say, hey, it's your turn to come in line. You have a minute to say yes or no.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I just like that. That sounds awesome. That
it's cool that you don't have to
just sit there. Yeah, like in a menu waiting for it.
No, no.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's what I do. Yeah, I just load it up, and that's what I mean. If I had to, wait in a menu, oh man, that would be terrible. But yeah. So it's not bad. So I can still, work on my character and acquire stuff. But that and the fact that I don't have a mount yet. I need one so bad.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm level 14 and I see like level 7s and 8s with mounts, and
they're
I'm
the
just
ones
like,
that go into that crown store and they just, they buy the. Have you seen like the black horse with like molten like hooves and
flame hooves? Yeah,
that's one that you can buy, and like seeing like level like 4s and 5s with that. I'm just like, come on, really?
Whatever. I'm gonna ride around on a mountain. People are gonna know. Wow, he saved up 10 grand in gold to get that basic looking horse.
Yep. But other than that, I can't say much bad about this game at all. I mean, this game's got me not playing Destiny, and that's saying something.
Wow. So. Since you brought that up, and we don't have to go like too deep into this, but would you say in a lot of ways what you're experiencing in this game as far as like that single player, multiplayer hybrid gameplay goes, that you kind of wish that Destiny was sort of like this, where it's just like this big, massive open space, one area leads into another, tons of quest chains and stuff like that? Oh,
man. Well, yeah, I think any Destiny player would, yeah. If Destiny's scope was half of this, this you might be doing a variety of different missions, whether it be collecting stuff, finding people for people, or killing people. But they're all from different people. It's all from different characters giving you these quests. So it feels like it's not as repetitive as I'm sure it might be. But
yeah.
In Destiny, it's just you want to do, you have so like 7 strikes maybe, and like it's just I don't know, so repetitive.
Yeah. It seems like there's a ton of content in this game. Like you and I have each explored like these little chunks of what this whole world map looks to be.
Yeah, we were going over it before, and oh my goodness, I can't believe like I've been all over this little province, but looking at, there's I don't know, 14 other ones that I haven't even touched yet. And I'm just like, oh man, it's insane.
As far as the quest goes also, like obviously I have no idea what kinds of quests that you've been on, but at least in this area in the game, and who knows, maybe the developers spent a lot of time giving you really awesome quests in like the starter areas and stuff like that. Maybe they're just kind of like flexing their writing skills and stuff like that. But so far the stuff that I've seen, none of the quests for me, or at least most of the quests for me have been more than meets the eye. Like it seems like it's starting off simple and you're going to do something, and then something always gets weird or screwed up, or like, you know, like something, they're always like twisting and evolving, and one quest is leading into another, and instead of like being like, all right, this person gave me a quest, I'm going to go do something and like come back to them. Sometimes in the middle of that quest, something will happen, and then you're sent on like in like this different area, and something will happen there, and it's kind of like they send you up through the land, and like, yeah, sometimes you'll bump into a quest where it's like, I don't even know. Like it's usually not like, hey, kill these 6 wolves for me and come back and I'll give you gold. It's more of it's always a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They knew, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, the main, you know, the quests are, you know, typically going to be, you know, collecting something or killing something, or they do a good job of making you want to go and do it. You know, they don't just say, hey, go kill this guy, and then, you know, and it's the same, and it's like the same, you know, guy you're killing over and over again. Whereas, you know, that's what it would be in Destiny. So yeah, it's, you know, it's always different. Like I did a quest earlier today where I had to go get fresh clothes and water for this. These people were harboring all these people who were, you know, injured and sick. So I had to go help them. And
oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I see. Like I had this one, like for example, where I was just exploring in the marsh, and I was like, "Oh, this marsh is really cool looking." And like, there's a house here. Like, I'm gonna go in this creepy marsh house and just see like what can I loot in there, right? And so I go in there, and there's a girl curled up in the ground, and she's like, the bloodthorn cult came and they killed my dad and this and that, and that I have nothing now and I have no money or anything. And you know, if you can just go and to where they killed him and find his body and find she wanted his pipe, like, you know, to remember him by. So she had something to like help move, you know, to just move on from the death, right? No. She wanted his tobacco pipe or whatever they smoked there.
Skooma was the illegal drug in.
Oh, really? Maybe it was his skooma pipe. I don't know. Okay, so then it's like, all right, I travel through the marsh a little bit, and I find the building that the quest marker is telling me to go into, and I battle bloodthorn cultists, and I go in there, and I grab his pipe, and I turn around, and I go to leave the building or whatever, and his spirit is there. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy, right? And so his spirit is there, and he's all like, oh, poor daughter and stuff like that. And he tells me that he's disappointed in her for telling me to go get something as trivial as his pipe. And so he says, you know what, like, you can take the pipe and stuff like that. And I really, you know, wish that she had something more to move on. And like out here by this rock, by this tree, like I actually, you know, buried some money for safekeeping and stuff like that. And why don't you go get her some of that money so that she can actually go start her life over? And it's like, it's little things like that where I feel like other games, or maybe older Elder Scrolls games even, would have, like, I would have gone and got the pipe and brought it back to her, and she would have been, thanks, now I can move on now that I have the pipe. But this game always goes above and beyond to make it feel like, yeah, you're doing fetch quests still, you know, but there's actually a story and heart behind, I feel like, 90% of them, you know?
Yeah. I also love how, you know, at the end of a chapter of a quest, you go to complete quest, and then there's another like thing of dialogue that'll pop up, and it'll take you on the next step of the quest for that person. Yeah, I absolutely love that. It's so cool.
Like, the game never makes you feel like you don't know what to do next. It's always giving you something to do after you're done doing what you're doing.
Yep, absolutely.
And one of the things that's been really rewarding for me in this area that I'm at is like I've gone on some really long quest chains, like where you're saying, where one ends and you go and do the next thing and I'll feel like I go and I've done like 6 parts of this quest chain, and at the end I get like a badass piece of armor. And not only do I get like a badass piece of armor, and like the town at the end of the quest chain is now like better actually because of what I've done. And I'm seeing that, like I said, that one example where like people are moving back in here and rebuilding it and stuff like that, but it gives you a skill point, and you're like, oh my god, like, yes, I get to level up an ability.
Yeah, and like you said,
and, you know,
the game rewards you for exploring by by finding those sky shards.
Yes,
you 3 sky shards, you get a skill point without even needing to level up. It's so like little things. It's just, and plus, I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, when you find new areas, you like come upon a new area, like you get experience for that. Like, oh man, so.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's even man. See, this is something that we'll have to maybe talk about. Oh, I was gonna say like the crafting system. We haven't
even gotten to that.
We can, yeah, the game's got a crafting system. It's pretty Elder Scrollsy. It's fun. It's deep. I feel like it's pretty
easy. Also, it's
pretty easy, pretty versatile. I imagine it'll take a long time to get good at actually crafting stuff that's not level 1. I just want. Go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say what I found. Are you just finding like for trees and stuff? Are you just finding like maple and stuff? Like maple trees?
Okay. Yeah.
Go into PvP. When you go into Cyrodiil, you find the nightwood, the nightswood, which is like the best wood.
Some good components. Okay, cool.
So that's where you find like awesome stuff. So
nice.
It's awesome.
There's a war going on around you, and you're just like chopping wood.
Yeah, seriously. No, it's pretty cool because I like making like bows and like cloth armor. So in my skill trees, there's 2 perks that I got. One helps me find. Do you know like the jute bush or whatever?
Yeah. Oh man, that stuff's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So that and wooden materials. So like logs. My guy will like be able to see it like 20 meters out, and it like glows like this like yellow color. So I can easily spot out. So I don't.
Oh, because you put a skill point in it.
Yeah, and my guy can like you can't miss it now. So it's pretty cool because like I'm sure I was running by that stuff all the time. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna do that for blacksmithing at some point because obviously like I'm wearing heavy armor, so I think it'd be awesome to be able to make myself a badass suit of armor later on and stuff.
Yeah, and it's awesome. You can like each race has its own stone, and I was going through and I was looking. Like the bows that you could create with each, you have to learn how to craft it in that style.
Yes, that's what I was going to get into. Yeah, go on.
Each, the bow with each different, I went to each stone, and the way the bow looked, it would be the same bow. It'd be made with the knight's wood or whatever.
Just different for the different styles.
And it would look different each time, and like some of them just look so badass. I'm just like, oh man, I need to learn how to craft like that.
Yeah.
And then I went through like all the armor, and each thing is just there's got to be like hundreds of different ways to outfit your guy with just off the basic the different stones and ways to craft. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of like what you were talking about with the crafting and stuff like that. That the game, and we were saying with the sky shards, that the game rewards you for exploring. And I had one of those moments where I was just kind of going through the motions of doing one of the game's more basic quests. I forget what I was trying to get 4 of or do 4 of, or whatever. I had to do 4 of something, and like I was done. And instead of turning around and running back to wherever I was supposed to go next, there was like a crumbled chunk of a castle or something like that, just like literally 20 feet beyond where I just grabbed the last thing that I needed. And I was side by side with somebody, and they grabbed the thing in their game, and I grabbed it in mine, and they ran away. And I was like, I'm going to go see what's actually up in here in this little dilapidated area. And I went up in there, and I found one of the blue crafting books that lets you learn like new styles. And I found like the Argonian crafting style. And I was like, this is awesome that I just like chose to go like a little above and beyond where I was actually supposed to be, kind of like finding a chest behind some area, like the game's really good about putting chests in cool places. And like I said, really rewarding you for exploring. And the thing that I didn't know is if that blue Argonian style book was in that crate only in my game, or if that person, like could that person have gotten it instead of me? Or is that an item that both people will always have in that crate, in that location, or is it random? There's still a lot of stuff like that that like I don't have answers to, but I was like, woohoo, like
that's amazing.
Yeah, because those things are few and far between right now.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've even found one yet.
Oh really? Yeah, I've got the orc one, and I've got the Argonian one, and I think I have one other one, but I know for sure I have those 2.
So once you get that, you can put the item in that style?
Yeah, when you're crafting, as long as you have the stone that corresponds to that style, you can make whatever you want in that style.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's like one of those things also. Like PvP sounds like it has a lot of rewards and it's a lot of fun, and like you're saying, there's there's stuff that you can only get for participating in that. But it's like right now I'm still in that mindset of I just need to explore this world. I'm still like, I feel like the more badass I get because of everything I do in like we'll say the regular game world, that I can take all that stuff into PvP and be that much better. But maybe it doesn't work that way. Maybe you're just, like you're good wherever you are,
Yeah, I don't know what the level balance factor is in PvP necessarily. But yeah, I'm really excited to hear what you say, like your first experience with it. I have a feeling you're just going to love it.
I'm going to check it out soon, because you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but like would you say you're level 12 or 13 right now?
12, yeah.
12. And so when you're in PvP, you said you're actually just battling people within like a bracket of your levels, right? You're not like fighting level 40 people in epic armor and stuff, are you?
No, doing some of the bigger, like the sieges and stuff.
Yeah.
I was running into like, 23s, 25s, but at the same time I had, 25s and 28s with, on my side fighting.
Okay.
Also. So I don't know if it like just takes like a general pool or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So much stuff that's still a mystery. We should, we actually, I don't know. We might be at a good stopping point, actually, especially because you're 2 hours ahead of me. Unless you have anything else that you want to dig into this time.
No, not really. Just if you're listening to it and if you're listening to this and you're looking for something, a fantastic game to pick up and spend hours getting immersed in, I would say this is definitely a buy.
Yeah. I feel like whether you're a fan of just the single player Elder Scrolls games or MMOs, like this is something.
I'm a newcomer to MMOs, and it's kind of held my hand where I needed it, and I feel like this game does that really well. Yeah, like even like your first time crafting and stuff, it like there's like that box that pops up right in the middle of the screen, and it's like A plus B makes C.
Oh yeah. And you can even I don't know if you've done any of this. I did this, and like I said, I keep referencing Daggerfall just because that's the town I started, and it's kind of like where I base my knowledge out of. But like at a certain point in the game, I don't know if it was because I hit a certain level or whatnot, but I got this thing where the computer NPCs would send me on quests to actually get certified in alchemy and enchanting and blacksmithing and all this stuff. And once you're certified by those NPCs in that town, daily quests appear on like the boards in the town. So like you have 24 hours to craft this potion or like fulfill these alchemy needs for like the quest on this quest board and stuff like that. So yeah, you get to the point where there's like daily missions for that kind of stuff also, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's weird. That one that I mentioned earlier, where I had to collect the clothes and water. That was a daily quest. Yeah, because I got that quest and it said you have 24 hours. I was like,
oh, interesting.
Weird. Yeah.
Did you have to get like certified in provisions or cooking or something?
That was in Cyrodiil. That was in the PvP also.
Oh, interesting.
So crazy.
Oh man, the game is so big. Yeah, I feel like I think critically it's receiving between like 7s and 8s and things like that, and at least personally for me, like I hate to slap numbers on stuff like that, but I feel it's well beyond that. Like it's not the prettiest thing in the prettiest game in the world, and some of the NPC animations and stuff like that are stiff and robotic, and but like overall it's just so huge and fun, and it's just a joy to explore and exist in that world,
Yeah, the scope of it is just massive. So I think anyone who nitpicks the way this game looks is just I don't even know what to say to them.
It's probably I haven't done any of the raiding in the game yet. Like I don't know. I have like a quest. One of the missions I have is for like actually a 4-player dungeon where I guess like you have to do co-op. I don't know if you have to do co-op to even go in it, or if it's just the game's way of saying like, no, you're not going to survive this unless there's 4 of you in there because of the way it's built. Okay. And I don't know if they get any bigger than 4, if there's like 8 and 16 and stuff like that, because I know in like a lot of MMOs you can do like 50-man raids and stuff like that. And if you've looked up any screenshots from games like I'll use World of Warcraft for an example again, it's like people leading these raids or like a part of them. It's like your screen is like massively cluttered with like customized user interface elements and stuff like that, tracking groups and teams and like parties HP and stats and who's doing what damage and stuff like that. And so like people who are used to playing MMOs that are that like complex and like deep and stuff like that, I have a feeling that there's a chance that this game might feel really shallow to them by comparison, you know?
Okay, yeah,
like, this game might not be as deep as that kind of stuff, but it's still really, really fun. Like maybe this game is meant for like the console market crowd, you know, versus people who are into like crazy deep MMO experiences on PC. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if you're, you know, just like me, I'm not a, you know, PC gamer. This is kind of like the first big MMORPG on consoles, I think.
Well, besides Final Fantasy 14 was on PS3 and PS4.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, for Xbox users, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like those are your two options for the most part.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I feel like, you know, for what it is, for introducing, I think, yeah, I'm in love with it.
Awesome. Yeah, same here. Highly recommend it. Then to close out then, before our goodbyes, the final question that I leave us to answer today then is, if this game still had a subscription fee, which we said it does not, would you have paid it? Like most MMOs, like the standard subscription fee is $15 a month. Would you pay $15 a month to play this game? I don't know if in this scenario that I'm creating, or actually how it was when this was a subscription-based game. Like, I don't know if maybe mounts were easier to get and didn't cost 10 grand. Like, I don't know how they rebalanced the game to make it, you know, so that they could afford to keep the servers going and stuff like that without a subscription fee. But yeah, would you pay to play this?
I would definitely, I see. Yeah, it would depend on a few things, I guess. But I mean, generally, I would probably pay the first month just because I've, you know, obviously never experienced an MMORPG before. So I would give the first month a go. And I suppose I would, yeah, you said 15. Yeah, I guess I would go until I could justify, because what is that? That's like that's like going to the movie, once or twice. So yeah, if I could get the joy out of, you know, what I think I would get out of going to see 2 movies, if this game could keep me, you know, entertained. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. You know, until I, you know, just would eventually get bored or something, or not be, you know, not be into it enough to justify the money. But yeah, I guess I would, at least in the beginning, to try it while it was still really, really fun. What about you?
Yeah, you know, try to answer this as honestly as possible without beating around the bush of my own question too much. If this game was going to be $15 a month, I would kind of want them to price the actual like game itself at like closer to $30 or $45 or so. That, you know, and maybe give like a free month, so that way.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess I just feel like that'd be or maybe like a $49.99 game, and then your first month's free, and then if you're still playing that next month, it's like, okay, then I've spent like $65 or $70 on the game total, and I've gotten like 2 months out of it. I feel like that would have been the way to go. The thing that I think would be weird about being asked to pay, and obviously people didn't like it, so they changed it. I think their subscription base, you know, was that where like people played it for a couple months and then like people stopped playing it. I don't know if it's because they didn't like it, or felt like there wasn't enough content in the game, or if people just had other MMOs that they were already invested in that were more important to them that made them drop this one like a bad habit. But this game largely still feels like, as weird as it is to say this, like a single player Elder Scrolls game to me, just with like this multiplayer element, you know, kind of like Destiny, where it's sort of like a single player shooter with a multiplayer element, you know?
Right. And now, did you know that you can pay to play this?
Can you?
Yeah, there's Elder Scrolls Online Plus.
Oh, I didn't know that. What is that?
It's $14.99 a month.
Oh, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
okay, so here we go. Like
So,
coming. Oh, interesting. So it does exist.
Yeah, I'm actually reading it right now. Members receive increased experience, faster crafting progression, bonus gold, along with all available DLC game packs, and
Oh.
you get 1,500 of those crowns to spend, which is like the in-game.
So, if you think about it, then in a lot of ways, we are kind of playing a crippled version of the game where no wonder it's taking so long to earn gold. And it's like if you want to level up and get powerful and get mounts faster and get into high level PvP and raid faster and stuff like that, if you go with the plus version, you'll be able to get to all of that content a lot faster.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, even knowing that, though, I still feel like as of right now, I'm really comfortable with the pace at which I'm leveling up and exploring and like getting gold. Like I said, it's taking me forever to get that mount, but I don't know. I still feel okay with it, I guess.
Yeah, if anything, yeah, it's not bad going slower because you're having to work a little harder, getting more replayability out of the game.
Yeah. I'm like you, though, where like ultimately, if this game only existed in like a subscription format, knowing what I know about it now, like knowing how much fun I'm having with it now, then like yeah, I would like to pay that money for at least a couple of months and then see if I burn out on it or not and be like, wow, that was really fun. And like you were saying, like you can go to, depending on what time you go to a theater and what theater you go to and stuff like that, your show without food is going to cost anywhere between $8 to $14 depending on where you live,
Right.
So to do that for a couple months might not be that bad if you have that kind of entertainment budget and stuff like that.
Right.
But now I guess knowing that subscription version of the game does exist on top of the unlimited version that we're playing, it's like, no, I'm not gonna jump out and go buy the plus version now that I know it. I'm comfortable and I'm really, really enjoying what the game is with just the way that I'm playing it now, with slow experience and slow gold acquisition.
Right. Yeah. 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 I didn't know you didn't know. Yeah, because I was looking at the Crown store and yeah, I noticed that you can. Yeah, there's ESO Plus. So
yeah,
it is available for people out there.
That's interesting. You know what could be kind of a cool thing to do then, or for people or whatever, is like, man, sorry, we'll cut this off after this. I know it's like it's getting late by you. It's like for example, right now I went into this game kind of like you did, knowing ahead of time the kind of character that I wanted to create. I knew I wanted to create this two-handed weapon, heavy armor wearing brute, just like you knew you wanted to make like a stealthy assassin for your first character, But with all the amount of time that I've spent and all the things that I've done and I've accumulated to even just get my character to like level 14 and stuff like that, there's a part of me that's like, I would want to check out a caster. I would want to check out an assassin. But to do all of this stuff again with those characters, while it would be fun, it might be a little bit like, So let's say I play this character for like 6 months and I max him out and he's awesome, but I'm kind of like, I'm kind of sick of just swinging this two-handed weapon around and I kind of want to be a caster for a while. Imagine just starting to drop $15 a month to be able to level those other classes a lot faster.
Oh, yeah.
Like that could be a way to do it too,
Right, yeah. I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, wow. That would make that would kind of make more sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to look at it, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think the game lets you have like 8 characters, I want to say.
Yeah.
Then it would be, make your other 2 characters and maybe alternate each day. Pay the $15 for a month, and really grind them out and get them pretty high up in that 1 month. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, so I guess ultimately, like in conclusion, besides obviously saying that we just highly recommend it, for me, this game was largely about, there wasn't a lot on PS4 that I really wanted to play right now that I hadn't already played, and I needed a game that was going to last me all the way through July and August before we hit the new Metal Gear Solid in September, and I feel like having dropped $60 on this game and in needing it to be that game, that I feel like I'm going to get that time out of it and then more. You know, like I really feel like it's $60 well spent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Same here. Yeah, I'll probably be playing around, solely this game for probably about the same time, August and stuff, when the new games start rolling out. But even after that, I could see me, I'll still be probably picking this up, and you got to try the PvP. It is just.
I will. I'm gonna try it soon. I guess the only thing I'm afraid of is that like I can't hide like you can, and so like if my character is built to be on the front lines, which he is, like I wouldn't say like I'm afraid of getting crushed by people way higher level than me, but we'll see how long I last out there.
You'll have mages and stuff healing you, and
okay.
And then you don't have to do like you can do like bounties where you have to kill enemy guys instead
like
of
NPCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, NPCs.
Okay.
Or real characters. So
yeah
man,
But yeah. Anyways, if I don't know, who knows where this podcast will go. I just feel like if ever an ESO developer or anybody that knows one or something like that, like listens to this, just like thank you for making this game and making it awesome, because I really do feel like they did a stand-up job with it, and like I don't know why it's not receiving higher reviews and stuff like that, but obviously just everybody's got an opinion on everything, so ours is that this game's pretty kick-ass. So
I love it. Yep. and thank you for making my first MMORPG experience not only amazing and fun, but very easy to get on board with. Also, it's awesome.
Yeah, probably couldn't have been a better one.
I know.
Okay, so so thank you for listening to this 30 and Nerdy podcast. Like we always say at the end of every podcast, you can find us on Twitter at 30 and Nerdy with 30 spelled out. And we've got our Facebook page and YouTube and our Etsy shop. We're on Tumblr and Instagram and Pinterest. And Mike, you are on Twitter also, right? Where can people find you on Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter, the Instagrams, the Twitches, TAQTIX27, Tactics27.
Tactics.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And so thanks for listening. So for 30andnerdy.com, I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
And we will catch you guys next time.